What's up, Cradle fans? Since my hardware is working, I'm going to shoot another video. And we're going to talk about Wintersteel, finally. Since we're getting close, might as well. And I've been asked recently to make a 10 things I'm most excited about in Wintersteel. So, these are the 10 things I'm most excited or hope to see in Wintersteel. Let's get into it. Alright, let's get into this. 10 things I'm looking forward to seeing in Wintersteel. Alright, first thing. Eithan going all out. Eithan going all out. Man, I started this channel talking about how great Eithan is. Eithan being great is one of the biggest memes ever. Eithan being Osriel. Eithan being Tiberian. Tiberian being Eithan's dad. Eithan being able to access the way. Eithan having the fate icon. All things Eithan I've talked about on this channel. And finally, we get to see him go all out. At least I hope we do. Unless Will, who is the ultimate troll, has ultimately trolled us again. If you don't know what I'm talking about with regards to Spoiler Man, well, check the link in my description saying Travis Baldry reads a chapter or whatever. Because we had an excerpt from the book, Get Read. It was super unedited, but it was still great. But it might not be the final version of what's in the book. But Eithan was called out as Spoiler Man, and it was super obvious by the end of it. So, according to that, we get to see him go all out. But who knows? But that's the first thing I'm looking forward to, because I'm a huge fanboy. All right, second thing. This is a throwback to my 10 things I'm looking forward to in Uncrowned. What the other Dreadgod cults can do, because all we saw was one of them shoot lightning. So I'm hoping we get to see what the Silent Servants can do, what Abyssal Palace can do. I don't really care what the Weeping Dragon people can do, because Ziel obviously doesn't have a problem with them. Again, referencing that excerpt. So yeah, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to see what the other Dreadgod cults can do. All right, moving on to number 3. A few authority and existence answers. So, actually, hold on. Before I talk about why I'm looking forward to this, I'm going to jump into the next one because I think they answer each other. Yes, okay, so who gets trained by which sage? There's going to be sage training in this book because that's what happens after the 4th round. When there's 8 contestants left, they get trained by sages. Cool. So, in that training, I'm hoping to get a few more answers about authority and existence, because sages, in my theory crafting world, along with a few others, believe that a sage upgrades their existence by manifesting an icon of what they have the most authority in. So like a sword path Arc Lord could manifest the sword icon permanently in their spirit, upgrading their existence to that of a sword sage, and blah, blah, blah. That's what I think happened with Tim. I talked about that in the existence video, but I'm hoping to get a few more answers and clarification on this, on what it actually takes to become a sage, because that's exciting. All right. Now, who gets trained by which sage is also a fun one. I put a couple of my theory thoughts down here. I think Eithan gets trained by the 9 Cloud Court because they use Royal Madra. He has Pure Madra. There might be some sort of training that they can give each other, but mainly I kind of want to see how Eithan trolls whichever 9 Cloud person that he's paired with and have them compare knowledge, and he might trump them and just be himself. I think that would be hilarious. I think Yeren is going to get trained by Min Shui. The book's called Wintersteel. There has to be a very strong Wintersteel correlation. So I think that a lot of the book is going to be Yeren being trained by Min Shui on how to do more sagey sword stuff. But also I think that Lindon's going to learn about the sword icon, or not the sword, wow. He's going to learn about soulsmithing, and because Min Shui made the Wintersteel blades. So she's a great soulsmith. Talked about this a bunch. And we have a Yeren and Lindon romance budding. So it makes a lot of sense for them all to have shared screen time in some way. So moving on. I think Mercy gets trained by the 8-man Empire. Mainly because they have someone who is already training her in archery, and it doesn't really make sense for her to get trained by anyone else. It doesn't make sense to me for her to get trained by anyone else. So I think the 8-man Empire trains her. Yan Shomei, I think it's lame, but I think she gets trained by the Sage of Red Faith. Since we have so many Reagan, Shen, and Seshethkana shenanigans, I think they're going to rig it to where that's the thing. I think that Ziel will get trained by Charity or Emrys. Mainly because Emrys is Sage. I think that Emrys and her party have already talked a little bit about how they want to help heal him. Emrys is a non-combatant. He needs to be healed a little bit. I think that Charity might be able to help him overcome kind of his like internal depression, self-loathing, funk that he's got going on. She's the Heart Sage, so she could very much help him with that if they were to get paired. I'm leaning more towards an Emrys situation. But anyway, moving on. Shah Miara by Emrys or Charity. I actually think Shah Miara gets trained by Charity because she's a child who can't control her emotions. She throws temper tantrums. And then we have an emotionally mastered Sage. I don't really think that Charity could teach Miara anything related to the sacred arts, but I do think she could help her learn to control her emotions, learn to think and act more like someone of her power level, and be more dignified. I think that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm out of my wits, but that makes sense to me. So I'm looking to see who gets trained by which Sage. Next, Northstrider hunger training. So Northstrider wants a presence. Northstrider thinks that Dross is a mind construct that is doing things it shouldn't. So he's going to investigate. Will has already said that if Northstrider found Dross, he wouldn't be as impressed. But he might see the potential of Dross, might interrogate Dross, and then might ask Lindon to help build him a presence based on what he's already got going for him. Okay? Lindon's probably going to have to study soulsmithing more. Who's the best soulsmith we know of in the current area? Probably the Winter Sage. Don't know, but probably the Winter Sage. And so Northstrider might be like, all right, Min Shui, you want to train Yeren? Sure, you can train Yeren, but you also have to train this kid on soulsmithing because I need him to soulsmith me something, so get to it. I see that happening. And in exchange for that, Northstrider will help Lindon integrate his hunger binding into his path, allow him to start eating more authority, using that authority, integrating that with everything, and maybe we see him able to have hunger techniques paired with his actual techniques at some point. So looking forward to that, whatever that entails. And this is something that everyone seems to disagree with me on. I would like Ziel to join the team. He doesn't have anything tying him to Cradle. His self-loathing and whatever, his whole point right now is to get revenge or die. What he wants to take out a cult aligns with what the team is going to eventually end up doing, which is fighting the Dreadgods in some form to avert the disaster coming to Lindon's Sacred Valley. So they're like interests are aligned. So I think he joins the team. I don't know if he leaves Cradle with them, but I think that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy again, but I think that makes sense. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the video bet. I won't be linking to it. You all know about it. If you don't, look around. I lost a bet last book because I didn't know the Uncrowned tournament wasn't going to end in the Uncrowned book. It extends. It might be a tournament that extends the whole trilogy, this third trilogy. Maybe. However, Eithan is going to advance to Overlord. He has to. The whole team has to. He's already pretty much there. He's just been sandbagging, hiding from Reagan Shen. He will advance to Overlord. I don't think blue will bet against me for a same bet in this book because it's the likelihood of him winning is almost zero. But I am going to make a bet about Wintersteel. Don't know what it is yet. Me and blue have to sort that out. But Eithan will advance to Overlord. My initial thought will be redeemed, hopefully. If it doesn't happen, I give up. Eithan's going to be an Underlord forever. So on. So moving on. The next thing I'm interested in is the Wandering Rampage. We have the Wandering Titan up out of the sea, walking towards the continent. We have the Akura clan. Okay, spoiler alert, preference. This is from the excerpt readout that I keep referencing. We know that the Akura clan's leaving. Is Abyssal Palace going to leave? Probably. So the Akura clan and the Abyssal Palace are racing to the same location to do battle on opposite sides. That's kind of interesting. I'm interested in seeing what happens with that. Okay. I think Sophara is going to lose either in the final or in the semifinal to Yeren. I definitely think that happens. I don't really have anything else, but I definitely think that happens. I think Yeren will actually defeat Yan Shomei either in the semifinals or in the quarterfinals. So in the round of 8, I think she'll either defeat Yan Shomei or she'll defeat Yan Shomei in the quarterfinals or in the semifinals when there's 4 people left. If she defeats Yan Shomei and then goes on to fight Sophara, I think she wins. I think that's what happens, is that Yeren redeems the whole group. I don't know what that means for Mercy. Maybe Mercy and Yeren fight and then Mercy, I don't know. I give up. I give up guessing. I don't have a big stake in this battle, but I look forward to Sophara's defeat, and I think she's going to lose to Yeren. Because Yeren is so talented. Poor Lindon is not talented. Poor Lindon just works hard and gets lucky. Fight me. All right, moving on. Lindon hunger boosting to Overlord so he keeps up with everybody. So here's the issue. Mercy, Ziel, and Yeren, and Eithan are all going to get a shit ton of resources, training to help boost them to the next level. Lindon isn't, but Lindon has something Northstrider wants, so they're going to do a trade, and Northstrider's going to teach Lindon how to use his hunger binding. If Lindon is able to use his hunger binding to consume latent authority, okay, that might get him closer to understanding himself better somehow and might help boost him to Overlord. Boost him to the precipice of Overlord where he can then recite his, self-awareness line and advance. It's like his only chance of keeping up with them at this point, unless Eithan gives him everything. So he has all these tools that can help get him there, but he's going to have to create a more holistic path. He has all these different tools that are really powerful, but they aren't brought together in one cohesive thing. He's got a hunger binding. He's got a present/mind construct. He has 2 different paths that serve 2 different purposes. His pure path is underdeveloped. Okay. He's got all this cool crap going on, but none of it's a cohesive unit. I think this hunger training that Northstrider gives him and the hunger boosting is kind of part of what brings him as a cohesive sacred artist and takes him to the next level. All right, those are the top 10 things, but I have some honorable mentions. I am looking forward to a longer book. I am looking forward to people complaining that the book is too long, because there's always going to be someone complaining about everything. I'm looking forward to Little Blue becoming not so little anymore. When he hits Overlord, he could give her Overlord Soulfire, and she could then upgrade her existence again, if that's how it works. I don't know. Spirits might only need one kind of Soulfire to evolve. No clue. I'm looking forward to how Will has pulled off a Lindon and Yeren romance. And then I'm looking forward to people complaining about the romance. And then I'm looking forward to people complaining about not enough romance. At this point, people complaining has become a meme, and I'm excited to experience it this time around. So that's it. those are the 10 things I'm looking forward to. Per usual, I expect all of you to comment and let me know what the things you're looking forward to are. I threw some theories out here. What do you think of those? Who do you think beats Sophara? Do you think anyone beats Sophara? Who do you think trains who regarding sages? Let me know. Thanks for sticking around. See you next time.